Hi, I'm Joy from Chicago. Please like and subscribe. My parents always loved to call me a unique child. When I was little, I was always making toy buildings out of random stuff. Seashells, bottles, cereal boxes, anything I could get my hands on. I was also kind of shy and found it more fun to help out with chores at home than play with other kids. One day, Mom was teaching me how to make pancakes when she suddenly stopped and stared at me.
Sweetie, what's the matter? Am I going too fast for you?
No, Mommy. Everything's fine.
But you keep blinking a lot, like there's something wrong.
I hadn't even realized it. So Mom took me to a doctor, and I got diagnosed with an excessive blinking condition. It was nothing serious, but in school, kids started making fun of me for it, and I'd mostly just stay away from them and sit alone. One day in 3rd grade, I was making a presentation, and this stupid boy kept interrupting.
Miss Brown, why does Joy blink so much?
Just keep quiet and listen to Joy's presentation, please.
But how can I listen when Joy's eyes are doing all the talking?
The whole class burst out laughing. Just then, this kid Martin walked over to the annoying boys' table.
Hey, don't talk about Joy like that.
Oh yeah, who are you, her boyfriend?
Martin jumped on him and the two started wrestling like crazy. They both ended up in detention for a week. So after school, I snuck into the detention room and sat next to Martin. Hey, thanks for sticking up for me.
I hate when people tease you. You're like the awesomest, smartest girl in our class.
I joined Martin for detention every day, and after that we hung out all the time. It turned out he even lived in my neighborhood. I'd always been a loner, but for the first time, I had a best friend. And it was amazing. Having Martin in my life made me less shy, and I changed a lot. We stayed super close through the years. But when we reached high school, Martin gave me some news one day.
My dad's business really took off, and we're moving to another neighborhood. I'm also going to a private school.
Wow, that's super cool, but I'll really miss you.
Hey, why don't you apply for a scholarship? Then we can still be at the same school.
My parents were happy for me to try to get into a better school, so I applied for the scholarship and I got in. Little did I know that it was the worst decision ever. On the first day of 9th grade, I almost fell over when I saw Martin. There he was, dressed head to toe in designer clothes, and was wearing a gold watch. Who are you and what did you do to my friend? And how much gel is in your hair? Dude!
This is just how the cool kids dress nowadays. You didn't know that?
No, should I?
Yeah, you should. You need a makeover, girl.
I just laughed and punched his arm. Later at lunch, a bunch of rich kids walked by our table.
Hey, Martin! I've seen you around my neighborhood. Want to come to my party this Friday?
Sure. Can I bring Joy with me?
She'll have to buy new shoes first. I bet the one she's wearing right now came from a garbage dump.
Hello, I'm right here, and I love these shoes.
Joy, she's joking. Calm down.
The girl walked away with her minions, and I felt so annoyed at Martin. How could he think that comment was a joke? Apparently, there were lots of kids at school who lived in Martin's neighborhood, and it seemed like he was becoming friends with them overnight. That next Monday, I didn't see Martin until lunchtime with his arm around a really pretty girl. Hey, saved a seat for you at our usual table.
Actually, I have a girlfriend now, so I'm gonna go sit with her.
Oh, okay, well, have fun. I went to sit by myself and watched Martin from afar. He looked happy, but he just wasn't acting like himself. As weeks went by, Martin got super handsome and muscular and really popular. I missed my friend, but I gave him his space. But one day, I caught Martin and his friends surrounding a younger kid, and Martin was reading his diary out loud.
Stephanie Twain, the love of my life since 5th grade.
I ran forward and snatched the diary from him. What are you doing?
What? I'm just here to entertain people. Reading idiots' diaries is my opening act.
Martin, why are you acting like this? Just because you're rich now doesn't mean you have to be a jerk.
You know what? I think you're just jealous because I have other friends now and I'm not a nerdy loser like you.
Look at me. I'm Joy, and all I do is study in the library because I have no life.
Then Martin started blinking really fast and shaking his head. Are you making fun of me? Before I could stop myself, I slapped Martin hard across the face and ran away from there. The whole rest of the day, I had to fight from crying. What a jerk! But when I got home, I forgot my troubles when I found Mom sitting in the kitchen looking really worried. What's wrong, Mom?
Joy, your dad and I are in serious debt. If we don't find a way to get some money soon, we could lose the house.
Lose the house? Are we gonna end up homeless?
No, I shouldn't have said anything. We'll be fine. Don't worry about it, honey.
But I did worry about it. I watched AvatarWorld videos on YouTube to take my mind off of things, but I didn't get much sleep that night. Weeks went by and things kept changing. I just focused on my studies and saw Martin from a distance turning into a completely different person. Then one day, a new guy named Cameron arrived at school. He looked like Harry Styles, and based on his Lamborghini, he was clearly rich. All the girls were drooling over him, but I just rolled my eyes and walked away. He was probably just another snooty brat, but I was surprised when Cameron came and sat next to me in my robotics class. He seemed super impressed with the robot bird I was building. I've been working on it for almost a year.
Are you like a genius? You can tell me the truth. You don't have to be modest.
Ha 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 ha. I laughed and ended up sitting with Cameron for lunch, and he never once made fun of my blinking or even asked about it. We were having a great time until Martin walked over.
Dude, what's a guy like you doing with someone like Joy? I'll introduce you to my friends. They're more your type.
Martin, why are you such a...
Sure, I'll come and say hi right now.
Cameron leaned over to me and whispered.
Trust me, you just sit back and enjoy the show.
I wondered what he was up to as he walked over to Martin's friends. And when Martin introduced his girlfriend, Cameron suddenly took her hand and kissed it.
I'm heading to a yacht party tonight. I'll offer you $500 to be my date.
His girlfriend instantly pushed Martin away and armed through Cameron's.
You got yourself a deal, cutie!
Wait, what the heck? I thought you really liked me.
Cameron pulled away from Martin's girlfriend.
Your friends really are something. I just wanted to show you that. And I don't like hanging out with fake people. Don't ever come near me or Joy again, okay?
Cameron walked back to me, and I saw Martin's face had turned really red as he stormed off furiously. I hoped he'd had some sense knocked into him. Later that week, I got some amazing news. My teachers wanted to enter my robot bird into a huge science fair with a big cash prize. If I won, I could help my parents out.
Your hard work is finally gonna pay off, Joy. I wish I were as talented.
Wait! What if you enter the science fair with me? You can help me with the finishing motion.
Are you serious? You're the coolest girl ever.
Cameron and I worked hard on it all month. The night of the fair, I reached the venue before Cameron, who was bringing the project. But hours passed and he just didn't show up. I called and texted frantically, but he wouldn't answer his phone. I was called to the stage empty-handed. The judges couldn't wait any longer. I was disqualified. But just as I was leaving the venue, Cameron showed up. Oh my God! Where were you? How could you let me down like that?
Joy, I'm so sorry. When I left the school with the project, all my tires were flat. 10 minutes later, I couldn't even call you because my phone wasn't in my bag. I don't know who stole it or slashed my tires, but I can make a guess.
Martin! I was burning with rage the next day when I saw Martin in school. I walked up to him and grabbed his collar. You heartless jerk! You did that to Cameron, didn't you?
Hey, back off! And yeah, I did, haha. But why are you so worked up? So your lover boy had to wait on the road for a while. Big deal!
It's not just about him, Martin. I missed the science fair because of what you did. You know, I've been working on that project for a year. Doesn't that mean anything to you? For a second, he looked taken aback, but then he just shrugged.
How was I supposed to know all that? Anyway, I did you a favor. You've been a nerdy loser since I met you. It's time you found a new hobby, Blinky.
I sprung forward and pushed Martin to the ground. I'm just through with you. I used to think you'd be the last person to ever hurt me, but I don't even recognize you now. You're just a big jerk bully. I turned around and fled from there. At that moment, I hated him so much. A few days later, I was studying at the library for exams and realized it was really late. As I walked out of the building, I heard laughter coming from the back alley. I went over to see what was going on and nearly fell backwards. Martin and his friends were spray painting the principal's brand new car. Are you crazy? What are you doing?
Ugh! What are you doing here, Joy?
Martin, just please stop this. You could get in so much trouble.
As if you care. Just keep walking and pretend you never saw this.
I had no choice but to leave, but seeing him this way was so frustrating. The next day when I went to school, all everyone was talking about was how the principal's car was wrecked, and he was raging mad. But in the third period, I was shocked when I was called to the principal's office.
I saw on the CCTV footage that you were on the premises last night when my car was destroyed.
But sir, I had nothing to do with it, I swear.
Oh, I know that. but I think you saw who did it.
I just stared back at him and then spoke. It was really dark. I wouldn't be able to tell you who it was for sure.
Joy, you're here at this school on a scholarship. If I don't have a name by Monday, you'll lose it for next year. I suggest you be smart and think about your future.
I walked out of the principal's office in shock. Just then, Cameron caught up with me.
Joy, what's going on? Why were you called to the principal's office?
I told him everything that had happened.
You can't just throw away your scholarship like that. You have to turn Martin in.
How can you even suggest that? He used to be my best friend, and I'm not a snitch.
He's not your best friend anymore. He's a jerk, and he deserves this. If he was a nice guy once, he's changed, Joy.
But I didn't change. I just can't do this, Cameron. I won't do this. I'll go to another school. It won't be as great as this one, but I'll be okay. Tears stung my eyes. I thought about the colleges and opportunities I'd never have now. But I was doing the right thing. That Monday, I went to the principal's office with a heavy heart, ready to lose my scholarship, but he told me the most shocking news. Martin had come to his office and confessed to destroying his car. So what's going to happen to him now?
He's already expelled, of course.
I couldn't believe it. Why did he suddenly confess? And he even took the fall for his friends. I found the other two brats who were with him that night, snickering in the hallway, and I asked them.
We don't know why that loser did it. We'd all gotten away with it.
It wasn't his idea. He just does whatever we tell him to, always trying so hard to be one of us.
I've known Martin for years, and trust me, he's 10 times better than all of you. I shut them aside and left. I was totally off the hook, but Martin was gone for good. My head was spinning. But when I got home that day, I found my parents in the living room with huge smiles.
Joy, we have the most wonderful news. We're not in debt anymore.
Are you kidding? That's amazing. But how?
Some anonymous donor paid off all the money we owe for the house. Like, we have no idea who did it.
It was probably Cameron. He's an amazing friend. I just know it was him. I rushed to my phone to call Cameron and thank him. But suddenly, I realized Cameron didn't know my landlord or anything about my house. There was only one person outside my family who did. The next morning, I took a bus to Martin's new place and knocked on his door. Hey, I have a weird question. Did you pay off our mortgage?
Yeah, I did. But hey, don't worry about it. Our moms ran into each other, and your mom told my mom everything. I told my parents I'd help them out at work every weekend if they paid your loan.
Martin, I don't understand. I thought you hated me now.
Why would I hate you? Cameron told me what you did for me. After how horrible I've been. You were gonna give up your scholarship and ruin your future for me. I guess I'm not really surprised, because that's just who you are. The best friend one could ask for. I couldn't let you do that though. I got expelled, because I deserved it. And I'm really sorry about everything.
I was so touched to see Martin's teary eyes. Hey, don't make me cry, bro. It's okay. And thank you for apologizing. I'm just glad to see my old friend back.
Me too, and for the record, Cameron's a really good guy. You have my blessing to be with him.
Yeah, I didn't ask for your blessing, but thanks anyway.
Hi friends, my name is Subin and I'm from Korea. Please like and subscribe. When my mom was pregnant with me, so was her best friend.
When our kids are born, they'll be buddies just like us.
And Ben and I were growing up. He was my pal. One time, Ben and I were playing and he was running after me. Then he accidentally nudged me and I fell down the stairs. I hit my head. But before I could cry, Ben started wailing.
No, Subin! Oh my god, it's all my fault. Does it hurt? Let me pick you up. Gosh, you're heavy. Subin! Are you okay?
Ben? I'm fine, really. Saying that I hugged him. Ben was such a softie. I did get an infinity stone on my forehead, like Vision, but I didn't blame Ben. He was the best, and I wished we'd always be together. But when I was 5, Ben and his parents had to move to France for a work opportunity. And I missed him so much. As if things couldn't get any worse. Dad suffered a huge loss in his business soon after. Slowly, I saw how bad Mom and Dad's relationship was getting because of money problems. And after a few years, Mom left us. But Dad always tried to make me happy. We were so short on money that we had to shop at thrift stores, but he spent hours looking for the things I'd like.
Look at this jacket, Subin. It has rhinestones. You love rhinestones.
It is pretty, Daddy.
See? I told you we'd find some good stuff here.
Since I was a good student, I got a scholarship at my school and relieved Dad of that burden. I worked hard and was a top student. I needed to keep the scholarship. And when I was in the 10th grade, something awesome happened. Ben and his parents had returned to town and moved into a big mansion. And seeing Ben on the first day of school after summer vacation, my heart started beating fast. And then he swept me into his arms.
Subin! Oh my god, you haven't changed a bit!
But you have. You're so tall and whoa, so muscular. Ben and I were in the same class and we started hanging out together all the time. But I soon realized he was getting way too much attention from all the girls, especially Haran. And she was the worst. She acted like she owned the whole town just because her mom was the mayor. And to my horror, Ben and Haran soon started dating. I hated her. But for Ben's sake, I pretended to be nice, and she did the same. She acted like a saint in front of Ben, but not when he wasn't around. She'd do petty things like pull out the chair when I was about to sit, and she would always comment on my clothes and appearance.
I'm saying all this for your benefit. No one likes a girl who looks so poor.
I'd rather be poor than a jerk like you. Gosh, what did Ben ever see in that witch? One time for lunch, Ben had gotten the yummiest pizza, and we were enjoying it when Haran came and hugged him tight.
Oh, I missed you so much in art class. Why didn't you join it, Benny Winnie?
You know I'm a science guy, babe. Here, wanna have some pizza?
She refused, and then Ben packed the leftovers and told me I should take them home because he was full. Dad and I never ordered out much, and I was happy to share it with him. A few weeks later, it was Ben's birthday, and he invited me to his place. I saw how Ben and Haran were dancing so close to each other, and it made me feel so jealous. I went to the balcony for some fresh air. After a while, I was headed back inside when Haran and some of her friends came, and I hid behind a plant.
You've really got yourself a hot boyfriend this time, Haran.
Yeah, he's totally wrapped around my fingers. He adores me and gives me the best gifts. There's just one problem. His miserable beggar friend. Oh, I really hate her. You know, Ben cares for her so much that he gets her favorite pizza for lunch every day and pretends to be full so she can take the leftovers home. He really pities her and she has no shame. She could probably live on his charity forever.
Why would Ben tell her something like that?
What? So pathetic.
Wiping my tears, I just ran back home. After that date, I sort of ignored Ben, even though he asked me if something was wrong a million times. I just didn't need his pity or his charity. When we were in our senior year, our teacher announced a science tournament and the winning team was going to get an amazing cash prize. Dad and I could always use the money, so I immediately signed up for it and I was paired with Ben. I tried to get my partner changed, but the teacher said it was final.
So you want to come over to my place to brainstorm some ideas?
No thanks.
Hey, Subin. I don't know why you stopped talking to me, but come on. This is a great opportunity. Let's do this together, please.
I knew Ben was a science genius and being paired with him was probably the best thing. So I reluctantly agreed. We came up with some really cool ideas and I ended up at his place almost every day to work on them. But I noticed how his mom was never around. A few times I asked about her, but he'd always ignore the question. But one time, Ben and I were at a park near his home, and he asked me the strangest question.
Subin, do you ever miss your mom? Does she call you? How does it feel to live with just one parent?
I never really thought about it. I guess it's not so bad knowing how much my dad loves me. It's not exactly a secret that we don't have much money, but he goes out of his way to make me happy. I don't know how to live with two parents, but the one I have, I love to bits.
That's really sweet, I asked because, well, my mom, she isn't well. She's going through treatment. Sometimes it's really hard to see her like that.
Oh God, Ben, I'm so sorry. I didn't know he was going through such a rough time.
Subin, why'd you stop talking to me?
Taking a deep breath, I told him what happened at his birthday party.
Subin, Haran kind of twisted my words. Yeah, I told her you guys were going through a tough time, but because you're my friend and I care about you, not because I pity you. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have discussed it with her at all.
Saying that he came close and swept my bangs aside.
You still have the scar. I was so scared that day. I'm so sorry, Subin.
Hey, it was a long time ago, and it kind of reminded me of you. When you were away, Ben looked at me like he might kiss me, but he suddenly snapped his fingers.
Bazinga! I just got a brilliant idea for our project.
And he sure did. Just a few more adjustments and our model worked. We came first at the science competition, and Ben gave all the prize money to me, saying I did the hard work. It wasn't true, and I knew he was just being kind. Why did such a nice guy have to be with Haran? But then Ben told me one day that he was going to break up with Haran soon. My heart was jumping with excitement, but I pretended to be sad. And when Ben broke it to Haran, the girl had a complete meltdown. She took a bat and smashed all the notice boards around the school during her psycho rampage. Haran suddenly spotted me and was coming right at me, but Ben stepped in between.
Stop making a fool of yourself, Haran. It's over.
You're doing this because of her! Because of this poor, ugly bimbo!
Subin's my best friend, and she's special to me. Don't insult her again.
Haran stomped off furiously, and I was left dazed. Ben just said I was special to him. Whoa. I was on cloud 9, and I just needed to confess my love to my best friend. I didn't have the guts to say it to his face, and we didn't have phones, so I wrote him a letter. Dear Ben, I saw you for the first time in kindergarten, and I've had a crush on you since. What I really want to tell you is that I love you a lot. Subin. During recess, I slipped the note in Ben's bag, but for some reason he got called to the principal's office in the last period. I kept wondering if he saw the letter, and when I got a reply the next day in my locker, I almost had a heart attack.
Dear Subin, I love you too. I was going to tell you, but I didn't have the courage. Let's meet at our spot tonight. I can't wait to kiss you. Ben.
It was like all my dreams were coming true. Wearing a new dress, I went to the park and waited for Ben. I was so excited and nervous. But suddenly I felt someone pull my hair and I landed on my butt. Haran!
Oh, a new dress for Ben! Ha ha ha! He ain't coming, sweetie. He showed us your letter and we're all in fits.
What? You're lying.
Oh no, I'm not. You really think he'd leave me for some poor beggar like you? In your dreams, girl.
Haran kicked me and suddenly I saw red and I pounced on her. But her friends got me off of her and then they all ripped my beautiful dress. I felt so furious that I punched Haran square in the jaw. What happened next was a disaster. Haran called her mom and made up a whole story about how I attacked her for no reason, and her mom made a case of assault against me and actually sent me to juvie for 2 months. My dad was devastated, and so was I. Even worse, Ben never showed his face, not once. Coward! As soon as I got out, Dad and I left town. After weeks of interviews, Dad finally ended up finding a decent job, and I worked as a waitress too, while I studied in a community college. 4 years later, I graduated with a law degree at the top of my class. Luckily, I got hired by a law firm, and just a couple of years later, I became a junior partner. One day, I read a piece of news that filled me with joy. Haran's mom had been arrested for corruption during her time as mayor. The whole family was being publicly humiliated. They deserved it. Sometime later, my firm asked me to set up an office in my old town, and I was kinda glad to return. I wanted to show everyone what I'd made of myself. One day, I was busy doing some paperwork when Haran walked into my office asking me for a job.
Please, Subin, help me! No one in this town wants to hire me or my family for anything. I know I was mean to you.
Cruel. You were cruel to me.
Yes, cruel and terrible. Please, please forgive me.
After Haran begged for a job for days, I finally let her be my personal assistant. And she had to do literally everything I asked. I really made her suffer for a while. It was fun, but then it wasn't. Seeing her qualifications, I gave her a higher position.
Wow, I don't know what to say. Thank you. And this means you've forgiven me?
No, not really, but I'm trying to be a better person, better than people were to me.
Subin, I never wanted things to go so far with you going to juvie and everything. Mom just got carried away. I'm really, really sorry.
After that day, Haran was always nice to me, and so was I. I just didn't want to hold grudges. But one day, as I was walking out of a coffee shop, I bumped into a guy. It was Ben.
Oh my God, Subin, I've missed you. We need to talk.
Suddenly, the memory of him giving my letter to Haran came rushing back. No, stay away from me. But the next day, there were tons of roses in my office and a note from Ben telling me how he wanted to meet at our spot. What a jerk. But this kept happening every day for a week. One day, I got so frustrated that I started throwing them out the window. But Haran stopped me.
Subin, I need to tell you something, and it's gonna make you hate me even more. But I have to. Ben is completely innocent.
What are you talking about?
Ben never got your letter. I stole it from his bag and I lied that he showed it to me. I made all of that up, and he never showed up to see you because, well, he'll tell you everything. And again, I'm terribly sorry.
I drove to our spot in the park and saw Ben sitting on a bench, and I gave him a chance to explain. Turns out the day I put the letter in his bag, Ben got the news that his mom had suddenly gotten much sicker, and he flew to France with her for some treatment. He stayed there the next 3 months, and he said he called my place and wrote me letters, but he never got a reply. And when he returned, I'd already left town.
I looked for you a lot, but I had no idea where you were or why you'd left without a word, till Heron reached out to me some weeks ago and explained everything she did.
She just told me everything, too. I'm so sorry about your mom. I'm sorry I left without giving you a chance to even explain.
It's all in the past. There's only one thing I need to say to you now, Subin. The thing is, I've always...
Loved me?
Yes!
I've always loved you too, Ben, since forever.
Hi, I'm Mandy. Please like and subscribe, and tomorrow you will have the best news. Growing up, we moved around a lot because my parents were journalists. I got really good at making friends quickly, but holding on to any of them was tough since I always ended up leaving, no matter how many of my so-called besties promised they'd stay in touch. After a while, they never did. It was heartbreaking every time. One day, Mom came home with big news. She got a job in Washington, D.C. for a national newspaper, and we wouldn't have to move anymore. I was so excited. Finally, I would have rooms of our own to decorate, make friends that would last. It was a dream. When I started at my new high school, I was nervous. I had to make an amazing first impression because this one had to stick. When I sat down at my desk in the homeroom, the other kids looked at me like I was an alien, until a pretty brunette girl sat down next to me.
Hey, I'm Jasmine. Love your jeans. Where'd you get them?
A thrift store in New York.
Oh my god. Is that where you're from?
Sort of. I told her all about life on the road, and we hit it off right away. I could tell she was popular, and it was easy to see why. Very involved in all sorts of clubs and sports. So charming, and top 2 of our class. She was always competing for the top spot against this one kid, Chase. She warned me about how annoying he was, and I totally agreed. I was stuck next to him in math class, and he was always talking and distracting me from taking notes. From the second we met, Jasmine invited me everywhere with her and her friends. We did our homework together, ate lunch, had sleepovers. It was amazing! Soon after I started school, Jasmine convinced me to come to her French club to see if I wanted to join. She introduced me to her friend Camille, and we had so much fun. We watched French movies and practiced speaking with each other. I joined immediately. They were going to choose 2 students for a summer study abroad in Paris. I just knew it would be a really smart move for my future. One day, I went to Camille's house to study with her, and suddenly, the cutest boy I'd ever seen walked into her kitchen.
Hey, butthead.
Excuse me?
Sorry, that was meant for my dumb little sister.
Ugh, don't listen to him.
I'm Ryan. You must be the famous Mandy I've heard so much about.
Don't you have somewhere else to be?
Nowhere better than right where Mandy is.
Then he smiled the most perfect smile I'd ever seen. I could have melted into a puddle right there. The next day at French Club, I told Jasmine all about him. Oh my god, Jazz! He's on the soccer team. Good at school.
Wow, he sounds like...
He perfect package. OMG, he's here. She turned to see Ryan walk into the room right then suddenly. Her eyes turned to ice in front of me.
Ryan? He's my ex.
Oh!
But, I mean, if you like him, I guess.
No, of course I wouldn't.
Oh, good, because it'd be so weird. I'm so glad we're friends.
What are you all talking about?
Oh, nothing. It's nice to see you again.
Since when are you in French Club?
Since I found out Mandy joined.
It was so awkward I thought I'd die. Just then, Madame Delacroix clapped her hands.
For announcement time for our upcoming Parents' Night, we will be breaking off into pairs to research and cook a classic French dish.
She started group. And surprise! Surprise! I got paired with Ryan. For just a second, I thought I could see the ice return to Jasmine's eyes, but she blinked, and it was gone. I felt sort of guilty that I'd be spending so much time with Ryan, but I vowed to keep my promise to Jasmine. Soon after that, I got assigned to help Chase hand out awards at the banquet. Hanging out with him all night would be the perfect punishment for me. A few days later, Ryan and I had to get together at his house to make chocolate mousse, my favorite.
Have you ever made this before?
No, but I've watched my dad make it, so I think Then I started the mixer. It started whipping everything up so fast that our chocolate mixture started flying out of the bowl. Soon we were both covered in chocolate. I was mortified, but Ryan just laughed and swiped some chocolate off my nose.
Looks good to me.
After we got cleaned up, we managed to make a second batch just in time to make it to the event. Madame Delacroix tasted every dish and said ours was the best of all of them. I was pretty proud, and I hoped it would get me some extra points toward the Paris program. Not even having to sit next to Chatterbox Chase all night could ruin my mood. After that, Ryan started asking me to hang out more and more. Soccer games, study sessions, sometimes even trips for ice cream. He was really funny, and we liked all the same books. I could tell he liked me, and I was really starting to like him. But I couldn't betray Jasmine. When I told my mom about it, she thought I was being ridiculous.
I don't think Jasmine really has your best interests at heart, Mandy.
She was my first friend here.
But that doesn't make her a good friend. What kind of friend keeps you from being with someone you really like?
It's girl code. So I was definitely surprised the next day, at lunch, when our group started talking about boys to hear Jasmine exclaim,
Who needs them? I've so moved on from Ryan. I mean, we only dated a few weeks anyway. Mandy, you can have him for all I care.
I was elated to hear her say that, but now I was nervous. I'd never really pursued anyone before, but all the signs were there, and I decided to go for it. Soon after, Ryan hurt his ankle at a soccer match and had to leave the field. We lost. I decided to visit him the next day, especially now that Jazz had given her blessing. When I walked into his living room with some cheery daisies, his whole face lit up, and he pulled me down to the couch in a huge hug. When we pulled away, I felt like I was falling into his beautiful brown eyes. I thought for just a second I might get my first real kiss, but I chickened out. I brought some ice cream too for Sundays.
You're the best, you know that?
We watched TV and ate way too much ice cream, but things felt a little different. He was texting almost constantly, when he usually was always talking to me non-stop. I wondered if I had ruined things by pulling away earlier. I tried to ignore it, but when my mom came to get me, I was sort of glad to leave. For the next few days, I tried to keep my head down and work hard towards the Paris trip, but I was glad for the distraction when Jasmine announced her birthday party to the whole class.
Arcade this weekend. My birthday wish list is on all the invites.
You going?
Of course. Jazz is my best friend.
Sure she is.
Cryptic much. You're so weird. I caught up with her in the hallway after. Can I hitch a ride to your party? This will be so fun. I already have your gift.
My carpool is full already.
Oh, okay. But she was already halfway down the hall, leaving me in her dust. I figured she was just distracted about her party and tried not to think about her weird behavior. I texted Ryan to see if he and Shamil wanted to carpool, but all I got were 3 typing bubbles in response, and then nothing. In fact, I didn't hear anything from anyone all weekend. What was going on Saturday, when my mom dropped me off at arcade, a gift in hand for Jasmine, I pasted a big smile on my face as I got out of the car. Chase waved to me and smiled. He really wasn't so annoying, maybe just a little awkward. As we walked into the party room, imagine my shock when I saw Jasmine's stick standing there holding hands with none other than Ryan. A pit dropped to the bottom of my stomach. When she leaned over to kiss him, I thought I'd die. All I wanted to do was run home and curl up under the covers, but I couldn't. It was Jasmine's birthday, my best friend. Still, I was mortified. Everyone knew I liked him, and they had all seen us spend so much time together. Now, he wouldn't even look at me. As everyone started pairing off and heading to the arcade, I realized I didn't have a partner. Blinking back tears, I suddenly felt a warm hand on my shoulder.
Hey, let's pair up for a round.
Sure. Chase and I played through, and even though I had a pit in my stomach, we actually had a lot of fun. He was pretty good, and even when I danced offbeat, he pretended not to see it. When we went inside for Jasmine's cake, I tried to put on a brave face, but when Ryan leaned over to help her blow out her birthday candles and Jasmine turned to smile at me with a gleam in her eye like nothing was wrong, I knew I had to leave. I snuck out to the bathroom to call my mom to get me, and as soon as I got into her car, I burst into tears and cried all the way home. And even though Chase texted me to check on me, and Camille did too, the one person who I actually thought would worry enough to reach out never did. I didn't hear from Jasmine until Monday in homeroom.
Mandy, why'd you leave my party? The cake was so good.
Why did I leave? Jasmine?
What?
You have to know why I left.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You knew I liked Ryan. You told me you'd moved on, and all of a sudden you show up with him without telling me.
How can you be mad? He was my boyfriend.
Your ex-boyfriend that you said I could pursue. Why tell me that if you wanted him back all along?
See, this is why we kept it quiet. We knew you'd be upset.
What?
We got back together the day he got hurt at his soccer match. He wanted to tell you, but we all knew you'd just be upset.
So you've just been lying to me for weeks? All of you. Jazz, how am I supposed to trust anything any of you say?
All's fair in love and war.
And with that, she flipped her hair over her shoulder and switched desks. I was devastated. My first real friend. And everything had gotten so messed up. What had I missed? When I saw Ryan walking home from school, I sped up to catch him. What the heck, Ryan? I thought we liked each other. And then you show up like that with Jasmine and totally blindside me.
I didn't know you liked me.
Oh, come on. The ice cream, the flowers. You knew I liked you. There have been several moments and I didn't just imagine that you liked me too.
I did, but you never said anything.
Well, neither did you.
And then when Jasmine came to me after I got hurt saying she wanted to get back together, why would I turn her down when I wasn't even the one to break up with her?
Like me. Don't like me? Fine. But you could have had the decency to say something before just showing up like that and humiliating me. I deserve better than that. I tried to put on a brave face at school. After all, hadn't I been a lone wolf for my whole life? But I'd gotten so used to having a friend at school that I suddenly felt the absence. Luckily, Chase came to sit by me the first time he saw me sitting alone at lunch. I couldn't see why I'd hated him so much for so long, other than the fact that Jasmine didn't like him. He was so sweet and really smart. Even though I avoided Jasmine and Ryan at all costs, I refused to quit French club. As the weather got nicer, Chase tried to get me to come out to soccer games, parties, concerts. But my sole focus was on school. I was more determined than ever to get one of the spots to go to Paris and prayed that Jasmine wouldn't get the other one. Chase became my favorite study buddy. He was almost as determined as I was for me to win the top spot on the Paris trip. On the last day of school, our report cards came out straight A's. Chase and I got big ice cream sundaes after school to celebrate. As I looked across the table at him, I thought about everything that had happened with Jasmine and Ryan and our whole big group, and I decided I was so glad to have one actual good friend instead of a bunch of not-so-great ones. Afterwards, Chase and I walked down the National Mall as the sun set. So, Mr. Number 1 in the class, how does it feel?
I'm just glad to have beat her, to be honest, especially after everything that happened with you.
I can take care of myself.
I know, but from day one, you seemed so nice, and I tried to make friends with you so quickly because I knew she'd come after you right away.
What do you mean?
Jasmine and I have been in the same class since kindergarten. She has always kept the girls she was most afraid of close. You know, keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
But I was never her enemy.
She's always been afraid of the smart, pretty girls in our grade. Even if you don't see it, trust me. To her, you were a threat.
Wow, I had no idea. But if I had to go through all that to become friends with you, it was worth it. Suddenly, my phone rang. It was Madame Delacroix. Hello?
Mandy, I'm pleased to inform you that you have been selected for this summer's study abroad in Paris. Pack your bags, mademoiselle. I am so proud.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I mean, merci beaucoup. When we hung up, I squealed. Oh my God! I'm gonna have a stamp in my passport. Suddenly, Chase's phone rang. And when he saw the caller ID, he looked up at me with a gleam in his eye. I could barely contain my excitement. And when he finally said, "Thank you," and hung up, he turned to me with a huge smile.
Looks like I'll have a matching stamp.
Paris? Together? I threw my arms around him, overjoyed to be off on a big adventure with my favorite first real friend.
Hi, my name is Kane, and I'm from Brazil. Please like and subscribe to Luna Avatar. Even though my parents were poor, I always had big dreams as a kid. When I was 8, my best friend Gangle and I used to sit at the bus stop on the weekends and would admire all the fancy cars that would drive past. Wow, did you see that? BMW? I want one like that when I grow up.
I believe you'll drive a car like that one day, Kane. Remember what our teacher said? If you believe it, you will have it.
Gangle also came from a poor family, like me, and I cared about her a lot. Once, when we were in the 8th grade, she couldn't bring her lunch for the whole week because her parents were so broke. And even though she came up with all sorts of excuses not to take my lunch, I wasn't going to leave my friend to starve.
Kane, I'm not that hungry. Please, I don't want to take your lunch.
You know you don't have to have pride with me. Come on, let's share.
Okay, but next week is my turn to share with you.
But when next week came, Gangle had more than enough to share with me since her dad got a big good job in the city.
I got us candy bars today.
Wow, thank you. I'm really happy that your family's doing well.
Yeah, and there's something else I need to tell you.
She looked a little sad, and then I felt sad when she told me.
We won't be living in the same place anymore. We're moving to the city, and I won't be in this school.
I was happy for Gangle because she was going to have a better life, but I was sad since she was my best friend. We promised to write to each other every month, but as time went by, she stopped writing, but I didn't. I started focusing a lot on my studies when Gangle left and became the top student in my school. When I was in 10th grade, I got selected to participate in a national math tournament. When I was at the tournament, I was so happy when I saw Gangle. She was also selected from her school. Gangle, she looks so beautiful now. Gangle looked at me like she didn't even know me. Or maybe it was because I also look different. It's me, Kane.
Oh, hi. It's been a while.
She looked down at my shoes and made a face of disgust.
I'm guessing you're still stuck at the poor people's location.
If that's what you call it.
Okay. I have to go. My friends are waiting.
That was not the Gangle I knew, but I didn't let that distract me. During the tournament, I beat all the kids, even the rich ones from Gangle's school.
Well done, Kane.
Thanks, Gangle. And it was nice seeing you again. As I walked to the hallway, a tall man approached me. He was the principal of the most expensive school in the city. It was the same school Gangle went to.
Well done on your achievement today. I would love to have a student like you at my school.
Thanks, sir, but I don't think my parents can afford your school for now.
You would definitely qualify for a scholarship, and I could help you with that.
When I told my parents about the offer I got from the principal, they were so happy. Dad immediately spoke to one of his friends who lived closer to the school to accommodate me, and he gladly accepted. After a month, I moved into Dad's friend's house. He had a daughter who was my age, Pomni, and she was on another level of always being happy.
I've always been an only child in this massive house. It's just me and my father. I'm so glad to finally have someone to talk to. Come on, I want to show you our swimming pool. I've won 5 gold medals. It's because I practice every day.
Thanks, but swimming is not my thing.
What? Swimming should be everybody's thing. What would you do if the world comes to an end and the entire earth gets flooded? It has to be everybody's thing. Then I'll teach you. Let's go.
Pomni was so persistent about everything I did, everything she asked me to do since her father was super kind to me. She never mentioned her mom, and I didn't want to intrude. When Pomni and I entered the school gates together, all eyes were on us, and I didn't understand why.
Oh my gosh! Everyone thinks I'm dating the new hot guy.
Which new hot guy?
You silly! You're really cute. Don't you know that?
I blushed when she said that because I never really paid attention to how I looked, since I focused so much on getting high grades. And then as we walked into our next class, all the girls started tapping the seat next to them.
Hey, new guy, you could sit next to me.
Oh no, you should really sit next to me. I have all the answers to everything.
Pomni suddenly hid behind me when she saw Gangle walk in, and then she took my hand.
He'll sit next to me. We come from way back. Isn't that so, Kane?
I saw Gangle glare at Pomni sternly, and she quickly ran to her seat and didn't look at me for the rest of the day. Gangle pulled me along with her everywhere in school, and because I missed her so much, I stuck with her.
I'm so happy that you're in my school, Kane, but we got to get you some new shoes, okay?
But these are my favorite shoes, Gangle.
I know, but change is good sometimes. Look at me. I live a fabulous life, which starts with how we look.
Pomni walked past me and Gangle like she didn't even know me, and when I saw her after school to find out what was up, she acted like everything was normal. Hey, you suddenly avoided me. What happened?
Nothing. I just wanted to give you and Gangle your space. She seems to really like you.
Yeah, we're old friends. Are you afraid of Gangle?
No, she's just this popular girl who gets everything she wants. And I don't want any trouble at school, so we could just be friends at my house.
Okay, if that's what you want. The next day at school, Gangle immediately approached me and took me to a quiet place. And then she took a new pair of sneakers from her bag for me. I felt very uncomfortable taking them. But these are my favorite shoes, Gangle.
Kane, it's rude not to take a gift. You know that.
Remember that time you made me share your lunch and I took it?
Yeah, but I was helping.
Take my gift, Kane, please.
I looked at her eyes, and she looked like she was about to cry, so I took the shoes. But it didn't stop there. Gangle changed my whole look, and I kind of liked it, but hanging out with her and her friends felt awkward. Like this one time when we were in 12th grade, they invited me to a beach party, and when I decided to bring Pomni along, Gangle acted like she owned me.
Kane, can I speak to you alone, please?
She seemed angry, and I left Pomni waiting for me.
Why did you bring her to a party that I invited only you to?
I live in her house, and she's my friend, so I thought it'd be okay.
Well, it's not okay, and I'm not happy. You were my friend first. In fact, I think I like you more than a friend now.
Gangle suddenly kissed me, which caught me off guard. Before I could react, my phone rang, and it was my dad. Sorry, I have to take this. My dad called to tell me that in a month's time, they would be losing the house because he lost his job. Gangle could see that I wasn't okay. And because I was so worried, I ended up telling her everything.
So you're going to be homeless?
No, I won't allow that to happen.
Well, I don't know how you will do anything since you're still in school, but if you send Pomni back home and tell her that she's a loser, then I'll speak to my dad to help your family.
What? I can't do that. No, Pomni's family is helping me, and she's a good person.
She's a freak, Kane, and you're hot and smart, and I want you all to myself.
I was so turned off with Gangle. She wanted me to hurt another person for no reason, and I just couldn't do it. I went back home with Pomni, and she was happy to get out of the party because it wasn't her vibe either.
Maybe we can go get some ice cream.
Yeah, let's do that.
What did Queen Gangle say? You look so unhappy after you spoke to her.
Don't worry about it. I don't think I'll be hanging around her anymore. After our fun ice cream date, I started growing really fond of Pomni. She was sweet and accepted me for who I am. She was still very hyper about many things, but I started loving that about her. And then after the weekend, when I went back to school, everyone looked at me differently. Even the girls who used to drop hints at me now looked at me like some poor, pathetic boy.
I can't have a homeless boy in our school.
I spotted Gangle talking to a group of kids. I stood behind her. She was talking about me.
Kane is a total fake. I had to buy him clothes and shoes because his family is going to be homeless soon.
Wow. But how can someone so hot be so poor?
Gangle, how could you do this?
Oh, speak of the poor devil.
She looked at me coldly. And then I took off the shoes she bought me and threw them in her face. Congratulations, Gangle. Money has turned you into a real witch. I walked away from her and Pomni ran after me.
Kane, wait. Don't throw your education away because of her. Gangle did something really humiliating to me once before, and that's why I stay away from her and whatever she wants.
What did she do to you, Pomni? Pomni started crying and I hugged her. Then she told me that she was the popular girl at school once before, and Gangle was her best friend until she told everyone her big secret.
Gangle kept asking about my mom, and then I told her something my family never shared with anyone. My mom is in a mental institute. Gangle told everyone at school. From that day, everyone called me a mental case.
Oh, Pomni, why didn't you tell me this before?
Because I didn't want you to think that I was a mad person. I'm not my mother. I'm me.
After what Pomni told me, I wanted nothing more to do with Gangle. I completed my last year of high school with Pomni by my side, and her dad also helped my parents not lose the house. Thank you so much for all that you did for my family. I hope to pay you back one day, sir.
You have a bright future ahead of you, Kane, and it was a pleasure having you in my house.
I'm going to miss you so much.
I got a scholarship to study medicine in one of the most prestigious universities abroad, and my school helped my parents pay for my flight ticket since I was the best student they ever had. I worked hard in university and became one of the best heart doctors in the world, and when I went back to Brazil to visit my parents, I also paid a visit to Pomni and her father.
Kane, I'm so glad to see you.
Pomni looked emotional. What's wrong?
My dad is in the hospital. It's his heart.
I spoke to the head of the hospital that Pomni's father was in, and I was ready to do anything to save him. While I was at the hospital, one of the nurses suddenly approached me.
Kane.
I couldn't recognize her since she had her hair covered up, and when I looked closer, it was Gangle. Hello, Gangle.
Wow, you're a doctor now?
Yes, and I am a very busy person, so please excuse me. I walked past her, and I could feel her eyes still on me. But she was someone I forgot about a long time ago. After my successful operation on Pomni's father, he couldn't stop thanking me, and I was happy that I was able to do something good for him and Pomni.
Kane, you are like my angel. You always come into my life at just the right time. When I was lonely back at high school, you filled up my life, and today you saved my father.
I comforted Pomni, then suddenly Gangle walked towards me. What can I do for you, Gangle?
I just wanted to say I'm sorry to both of you.
She looked really sincere, so Pomni and I forgave her. She asked if we could have dinner together. I looked at Pomni, and she nodded, so we hung out together. As we sat in a restaurant, we actually enjoyed ourselves, and when Pomni excused herself to go to the bathroom, Gangle confessed to me.
I still love you, Kane. I don't know what came over me in high school, but I've changed now.
I'm sorry, Gangle, but I'm in love with Pomni, and that's why I came back to Brazil. Gangle understood and then got up and left.
Where's Gangle?
She's gone, so it's just the two of us. I stepped forward, Pomni's, looked into her eyes, and told her how I felt. Pomni, will you go out with me on a real date?
Oh, yeah. So I guess I did get the hottest guy in school after all.
She always knew how to make me blush. Never let your current situation determine your future. When life throws you lemons, make sweet lemonade.
Hi, my name is Lily. Before I tell you my story, please like and subscribe. Before I was born, there were two things my parents loved more than anything in the world: their restaurant and their yacht, both named Ella. And that didn't change after I was born either. But soon after, their restaurant wasn't doing so well. When Dad knew Mom was pregnant with me, he said,
"It's so expensive to raise a baby, we'll have to sell something. This child is already bad luck."
Ultimately, they sold their precious boat, and they never stopped crying about it.
Oh, if only we didn't have Lily and had Ella with us right now. We'd be having breakfast at sea.
And I'd be sunbathing on the deck having a child. Just ruins everything.
They never celebrated my birthday, but when I was turning 5, they decided to have a party and called all their friends. When I ran to the table excitedly to look for the cake, I felt confused. Why does this say Happy Birthday, Mom? Because I gave birth to you on this day? What did you have to do? Nothing. It was a really boring party because there were no presents for me, and nobody was paying me any attention. Instead, they all wanted to talk about their fancy new yachts. My parents were so embarrassed because they didn't have anything to talk about. Later that evening, Dad said to me,
"I wish we'd put you up for sale instead of my boat."
That same year, my little sister was born, and on the same day, Dad unexpectedly found an oyster washed up on the beach with a rare gray pearl inside. He sold it for $50,000, and the money really helped them make things better at the restaurant.
Yeah, what a blessing this baby girl has been for us. She's brought us such good fortune.
And because of that, my parents decided to name her Ella. Like everything else, they truly loved.
We love you so much, Ella. We tried with Lily, but it's easier to love you because you're just so perfect.
They made me do all the chores around the house while they drooled over the new baby. I even had to change her stinky diapers because both my parents refused to. After a few weeks, they got really busy at the restaurant, and I was left in charge of Ella most of the time. I'd feed her, bathe her, rock her to sleep. I started teaching her my name.
Lily.
I'd point to myself. Ella would just look at me, and then she'd laugh and clap her little baby hands. But things changed forever when Ella turned 1. My parents came home from work one night, and Mom started yelling at me for not having dinner ready. You own a restaurant? Can't you just eat there?
We sell that. Food, you moron. What should I expect from someone as stupid as you? I guess we'll just go eat out somewhere. Come on, Ella.
But Ella didn't want to move. She slapped my mom's hand away and started to cry with her little toddler finger. She pointed at me.
Lily.
My parents looked shocked. Ella had just said her first word, and it was my name.
Lily. Lily. Lily.
What have you been teaching her?
Mom was so mad that Ella's first words weren't, "I love you, Mom and Dad, and I hate Lily." Dad picked her up, but Ella kept kicking and screaming for me.
Fine, we'll bring your stupid sister.
I walked out with them, and Ella stopped crying. She smiled at me, and I smiled back. After that, Ella always had my back, and I always had hers. When I was in the 3rd grade, my parents took Ella to a boat show. They left me behind to clean the house. Of course, when they got home, Ella ran to me and gave me a present. I was so touched.
Hi. I love you, Lily.
It was a little red toy boat. I hugged her tight. When Ella turned 4, she had a phase where she wouldn't eat anything except hot dogs and ketchup. Her favorite part was when I squirted ketchup all over the hot dogs. Ready, Ella? Ketchup party. The funny fart noise the bottle made always made her laugh like crazy. When summer break was over and I went back to school, my parents had to hire a babysitter for Ella. One day when I got back, I could hear screams from one of the rooms. Just then, Ella came running out, holding a ketchup bottle and squirting it everywhere.
Yeah, ketchup party.
Behind her, the babysitter came out drenched in ketchup from head to toe.
That's it, I quit.
Just as she was storming off, my parents walked in looking horrified at the mess.
What on earth is Ella doing? Did you teach her this?
No, I did not teach her to spray ketchup all over the house. Mom caught Ella and snatched the bottle from her, glaring at me.
I don't know how, but this is all your fault. Clean this up right now and stop poisoning our little Ella's mind.
Just as she was dragging Ella to the bathroom, she slipped on some ketchup and fell on the floor. Angry as I was that I had to clean up everything, that made me feel a little bit better. When I was old enough, my parents made me work at their restaurant. I thought it would actually be fun waiting on tables and meeting new people. But what was I thinking? They just handed me an apron and rubber gloves.
You'll be washing the dishes.
When I asked them to pay me, Dad glared at me.
We already pay you by giving you a bed at night and a roof over your head. Don't be so greedy.
To make matters worse, they'd make me pay for any food I ate there. But I became friends with the head chef, and I'd eat the food he gave me secretly in the back alley. One time, he came out to hand me a bowl of mac and cheese, and just then, we heard someone coming and he dove behind the garbage can. It was Dad.
Where did you get that, Lily?
I took it out from the garbage. Do you want some? He looked absolutely disgusted and was about to walk off when he spotted the chef.
I knew it was you, thief. You're fired.
Of course, a few years later, when Ella started working at the restaurant, Mom and Dad got her the cutest uniform and let her greet the guests as they walked in. The restaurant is named after her. She should be the face of it. No, you named her after the restaurant and your stupid boat.
Oh, my boat. Every time I look at you, I miss that boat. Now get back to work.
Of course, Ella could order anything off the menu, but she still always had my back and she'd sneak me half her meal. One night when I was eating lasagna at the back of the kitchen, Dad suddenly walked in and he accused me of stealing. As he snatched my plate away, Ella came running in.
She works hard and she deserves it.
No, she doesn't, Ella. You work hard for your meals, not your ungrateful sister.
That was the final straw. I was done being insulted by them. The next night was one of the busiest ever, and the kitchen was chaotic. I had Dad screaming at me every 5 minutes.
Lily, hurry up. We need clean dishes.
I stopped cleaning them and just gave the dirty ones. Once back to the chefs, they were so busy they didn't notice, and the fresh food went out on filthy dishes. One even had a used napkin on it. The customers were so grossed out, a lot of them left without paying. A food critic was at the restaurant that night, and he threw down his napkin as he screamed,
"This is an insult. This would never happen in France."
And he stormed off with my parents following him and saying sorry again and again. Of course, he wrote a horrible review. Ella and I found it really, really funny though. We would burst into laughter every time we read it. Ella is the most disgusting restaurant on earth. Eat your meal from Ella or straight out of the trash can. Same difference. The reviews were so bad that customers stopped coming altogether. Eventually, my parents were forced to sell the restaurant.
I hope you're happy now. We can't send your sister to college.
What are we going to do for money now, Lily? Did you think about that?
Think of all the people who lost their jobs. You should feel awful.
But no one lost their jobs, Dad. Everyone got rehired by the new owner. In fact, I'm also still working there, and I got a raise. I skipped off before Dad exploded. I knew I wanted to go to college, and living by the sea had always made me want to study marine biology. I got a loan, worked part-time, and put myself through college. I graduated at the top of my class and got a research job. I would spend days at a time out on the water, and I loved it. With the money I'd saved up from work, I eventually bought a cute sailboat. I could see my parents turning green with envy. I offered to take them around for a spin, but they refused to go with me. When Ella hopped onto the boat excitedly, she asked,
"Have you named it yet?"
No, but what do you think about the Lily Ella? Her face lit up.
I really like that.
And just like that, the Lily Ella set sail for the first time. A few days later, Ella came to me with a poster.
Yeah, we should enter this contest.
It was a sailboat race coming up in a few weeks, and there was a grand prize of $100,000. You think we can win?
I know we can.
As we were practicing one day, I was shocked to see my parents had a sailboat too. Dad yelled out to us.
Guess what? We entered the contest too, borrowed the boat from a friend.
But why?
Oh, he thought it would be fun to beat you. We spent years on the water before you were born, Lily. You'll never win against us.
It was the morning of the race, and Ella and I were getting everything ready when we noticed that something very important was missing. Our sails. How are we going to race without them? The race started, and everyone got off to a huge head start. I could see my parents pointing and laughing at us from the water.
Good luck without your sails, Lily Ella.
Of course they'd sabotaged us. Just then, Ella came panting behind me, dragging some disgusting sails.
I found them in the garbage. They smell so gross.
We set them up, caught a big gust of wind, and took off. We were pretty far behind the other racers, but Annabella was a speedy little thing, and we'd been practicing a lot. We quickly caught up to the rest of the pack, but our parents had a big lead. The finish line was fast approaching. We'll never catch them.
We're too heavy.
I turned to see Ella strapping on a life jacket. What are you doing?
Win this race, Lily, for me.
And with that, she jumped over the side. I knew she could swim like a mermaid, so I wasn't too worried about her. I immediately picked up speed after she jumped off. I turned around to glance at her once, and she yelled at me.
Ketchup party?
What was she talking about? I was right behind my parents' boat, and the finish line was only 200 yards away. That's when I saw a big squirt bottle of ketchup on the floor of the boat.
You'll never catch us, Lily. You'll always be a loser.
It's time for a ketchup party. And with that, I got close enough and aimed it straight at Dad's face. He couldn't see anything, and his boat ended up getting stuck between two rocks. I could hear Mom and Dad yelling, but I went even faster and crossed the finish line. Ella ran up to me and gave me a huge hug.
We won.
We won?
We are rich.
A few weeks later, the Lily Ella and its victory was trending on the internet. We were invited to race all over the world. Eventually, we bought a bigger boat with our winnings, and even though my parents had always been so mean to me, I bought them a boat too, to make up for the one they'd sold all those years ago. And I keep the red toy boat Ella got me as a present, right by the wheel at all times.
Hello, I'm Lily, hailing from Florida. Please like and subscribe. Throughout my life, I've enjoyed a typical routine centered around 3 essentials: food, friends, and basketball. When I reached 14, I realized I wanted to join my high school team.
Girls playing basketball. Ha ha ha, please.
I threw the ball at them to show them my skills. But right then, this girl walked in its path.
You missed. You do better as a cheerleader.
I ignored them and rushed over to her. I am so sorry. Are you okay?
No worries, I'm fine. But guess what? I know the combinations to their lockers. I noticed how those jerks were behaving, and I was actually on my way to confront them.
Yeah, those boys make me so mad.
But I say, don't get mad, get ants.
Daisy and I filled their jerseys and couldn't help but laugh as we watched them squirm and swat while trying to explain to the coach.
I'm Daisy, by the way. Nice to meet you.
I'm Lily. We've been partners in mischief ever since, making prank calls to our classmates and baking cupcakes with gummy worms for the bake sale just to irritate the snooty girls. Typical high school antics. However, things changed when I reached my sophomore year. One day, I was running late for class but desperately needed to use the restroom. As I exited the stall, I encountered this stunning, dark-haired boy with the most captivating green eyes. "This is the ladies' room."
Scusi?
"Sushi in the bathroom?" Then he pointed to the wall, and I realized I was in the wrong place. Oops, I was in such a rush. "Hey, you must be one of the exchange students. Where are you from?"
Italia.
"Oh, do you speak any, English?" "Well, I know some Italian too. Una mattina mi sono alzato. Oh, bella. Ciao, bella. Ciao, bella. Ciao, 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 ciao."
Who told you that if you slow down and speak louder that someone will understand your language better?
Oh, so you're a comedian? Well, do you understand sign language? 'Cause I've got a gesture for you. Relax, everyone. I'm keeping it PG. Talk to the hand.
Oh, don't be like that. Just thought you were cute and I was messing with you. Don't go.
I stormed out, but he grabbed my hand to stop me, knocking my phone on the floor. And when we both went to pick it up, I accidentally headbutted him on the way back up.
Ow, I think you broke my nose.
Just then the bell rang, and I couldn't be late again to Miss Sanders' class. Sorry, I don't have a tissue, but this tampon may help. You'll be fine. I made it to class 15 seconds after the bell rang, and I couldn't wait to tell Daisy. But just as I was about to give her the deets, he walked in.
Class! I'd like to welcome one of our new exchange students. Holy moly.
She asked if anyone would volunteer to take him to the nurse, and Daisy's hand shot up in the air like a rocket. But Miss Dander pointed at me.
Since you were late to your seat, perhaps you need a lesson in thinking of others, not just yourself.
Come on, holy moly, let's get you all better. As I walked into the nursery's office, he kept trying to talk to me.
I'm Billy, so I'd...
But I knew like this I might fall for his charms. So I panicked and pinched his arm to get him to stop talking.
Ow!
Oh, look, here we are, bye. And after school, all the girls, even Daisy, started gushing about how gorgeous Billy was.
I mean, even with his nose all bandaged up, he's so dreamy.
The next day, I was having lunch with Daisy when we saw Billy talking up some of the cheer squad. I bet he loves the attention. Ugh, he's such a flirt. Then we heard a familiar voice behind us.
Yes, he is.
Am I having the side effects of today's lunch food, or is he in two places at once?
Oh, that's my twin brother. You're Blaine.
Daisy and I were both shocked. I was glad Billy wasn't a flirt. But then my brain was working overtime on a plan as Blaine walked towards Daisy. Billy for me. Blaine for Daisy.
Woohoo!
We'd be one big family. I gave Daisy an encouraging look, signaling her to talk to Blaine, but she didn't utter a word.
Blaine, this is Daisy and Lily. Hey, Lily.
Not only do they look alike, they sound the same too.
So you're the one I can thank for making me the better-looking twin.
It looked like the entire cheer squad agrees with you. So Blaine, you know if you want to pass your classes, you need a study buddy. I mean, Daisy here is a whiz. Right, Daisy?
Yeah, let's have a study group. We'll meet you guys at the library after school tomorrow.
As we walked away, I turned to Daisy. Oh my God, did you see how Blaine was staring at you?
I don't know, Lily. I just met him.
So the next day, I gave Daisy an awesome makeover, and I added 12 more layers of lip gloss when trying for the 13th layer. This gloss will last for a whole week. Now let's go. Our study date was amazing. I found out that Billy was really sweet. I talked to him all the time. And Daisy kinda looked happy with Blaine, too. Then one day, I hopped to the store to grab snacks for our library session. And as I was reaching for the top shelf, I felt someone slap me on the butt. No way was I gonna let some random weirdo do that. So I whipped around and went full demon karate girl on the guy. But as I kicked him, I realized it was Blaine.
Ow!
What the heck, dude? He pointed to a cockroach on the floor that apparently had been crawling on my butt. You could have just told me.
Okay, but you should be thankful.
Thankful? You should apologize to me.
Ha ha! Why don't you just leave?
You can't tell me to leave. This isn't your family store. You know, my dad could buy this store for me with a snap of his fingers.
Oh, really? My family is richer than yours. We use $100 bills as napkins, and I have even more money in my piggy bank than you have in your entire bank.
He waved his card at me before he put it in his back pocket. I sneakily swapped it with my library card when I purposely knocked into him. Walked out of the store, huh? Not for long. I was the first one to arrive at the library, and just as I reached for the book, I felt a hand sweep across mine. It was Billy. But I turned around too quickly, and the book fell on his head.
Ah, you had to pick the biggest book in the library.
Well, what's up with the sneak attack?
I thought I could admire your pretty face in secret.
Really? Now? I hope my pretty face doesn't blind you. He laughed, and we talked about basketball. Suddenly, his eyes twinkled, and he leaned closer to me. My heart raced as I realized he was going to kiss me. And just then, he sneezed right on my face. He quickly tore some pages out of the book and handed it to me. Ew, yuck!
I'm so sorry. Here, wipe your face on that.
And what's worse, the librarian saw us and threw us out. Just then, he pulled the tape off of his nose. Blaine, you jerk!
Sorry, Billy's not gonna make it today. He's with Mom, so I decided to pay you back for the card switcheroo you pulled on me. You can imagine how embarrassing it was. Try to pay for food with my library card.
Blaine held up my card, but as I went to grab it, he moved and held it above his head so I couldn't reach it.
What's the matter? You can't take it out of my hand?
You forget. I'm a basketballer. I tackled him to the ground.
Geez, girl, you've got moves.
Don't try to butter me up now that I've taken you down. I'm serious.
You know, my dad's got connections with sports agents. If you want me to set you up with a meeting, but it has to wait, 'cause I'm enjoying this closeness with you.
Oh my God, is he flirting with me?
Uh,
We were trying to get up from the floor, but my foot twitched and I fell, causing Blaine to go over me. Then he touched my face.
Wait, stop!
I like Billy. Or do I? Or I like Blaine. I'm so confused. Guys, help me out here. What should I do? And we kissed. You guys did say kiss him, right? It was amazing. But I pulled away when I remembered Daisy was supposed to be with Blaine. Too late, though, because she showed up just in time to see us kiss.
What's going on? I thought you...
She looked so betrayed. I couldn't think of anything better, so I faked a stomachache. Ugh, it's bad tacos. I dashed off, but Daisy had enough and she ran after me.
Don't you dare run away. Just tell me, why did you kiss him?
It wasn't a kiss. We were. He was giving me CPR.
What?
Yeah. Remember when I puked in Miss Dander's exam? I had just found out that I had cancer. And today I fainted. So he was helping me. I kept it to myself, not wanting anyone to pity me. But Daisy, how could you think of me like that? I felt bad for lying, but I truly didn't want to ruin our friendship. I would have to cover up for now, but soon I would tell her the truth, and we could laugh about it.
Oh my God, Lily, I'm so sorry. I was so wrong. Please forgive me.
Seriously? You're using my shirt as a snot wiper? The next day at school, Blaine brushed his hand against mine as he walked by. My heart skipped a beat. I was confused about why I didn't feel the same around Billy. I shrugged it off and looked for Daisy.
What do you need? You want to hold my hand? A bottle of water!
See? This is why I didn't tell you. I don't want you to treat me any differently. And don't tell anyone either.
Okay? You got it, bestie. I have an idea. Why don't we go to my family's cabin by the lake this weekend? We can have a fun slumber party like we used to.
Absolutely! That weekend, Daisy picked me up. But when we got home to the cabin, I was shocked to see Billy and Blaine were already there.
Surprise! I thought now you could have Billy, and I'll just hang out with Blaine.
I was so on edge around Billy and Blaine, we unpacked our stuff and we were about to make dinner when Billy grabbed the pan.
I'll be making a special dinner for someone special tonight. I don't think anyone wants food poisoning, so I'll be making dinner tonight for my special lady. Oh, really? Your special lady? You have no idea what me and Lily have. So you better shut your pie hole or I'll do it for you.
Daisy was stunned, and Billy took a tampon out of his pocket and shoved it in Blaine's ear.
A tampon? I knew you punched her like a girl, but this is a whole other level. Actually, it was a gift from Lily, so I'd like it back.
I was supposed to spend the weekend with my friend, forget about boys, and get everything back to normal. But instead, everything was falling apart. So I just snuck out for some time to think. I must have walked for a while because I wound up on a road that clearly hadn't been used in months. Then suddenly, I heard a woman yelling for help. As I approached, I saw a woman on the ground. I rushed over to help. "Are you okay?" I knelt down to see that her foot had been badly injured and was stuck in a hole. "Hold still. I think I can use a branch to pry you loose." I freed her from the hole and took her to the hospital for treatment. But she needed blood, and luckily, I was a match. When she woke up, she called me over.
You are an angel. I would have surely been there for a month if you hadn't saved me. If I had a daughter, she'd be just like you.
As she hugged me, I fought back the tears, thinking of how much I missed having my mom around. No matter what you do or how rich you are, there's no replacement for a mother's love.
My sons forgot their undies, so I tried Google Maps to reach them, but I got lost. I just called them, and they should be here soon. You know, I am so proud that nothing can come between them, and they are always together and take such good care of me.
Just then, Daisy, Billy, and Blaine showed up.
Mom!
Wait, these are your sons? Blaine rushed for medicines and Billy came to hug me.
I was so worried about you. I'm glad you're okay.
But as I hugged him, I realized I was looking over his shoulder with my eyes glued to Blaine. It was then I knew that Blaine was the one, and also that I would have to give him up. I whispered in Billy's ear, "I care so much about you, both of you, but I need to let you both go."
Why? I don't understand.
I can't be the reason that anything comes between you two. Just reminded me how important family is. Please tell Blaine for me. My lie got busted when the doctor told them that I gave the blood. And Daisy heard it and looked so disappointed. I couldn't face Daisy, so I ran away and decided to escape to Europe and complete my high school years there. something my dad had always wanted me to do. But before leaving, I sent a long email to Daisy apologizing for not being the friend she deserved and telling her my true feelings for Blaine. Then, with tears in my eyes, I deleted all the accounts, knowing that I'd never be able to tell Blaine how I felt. It hurts bad, but I thought it was just better for all of us. Years later, I had graduated from medical college and came back home to set up my pediatric practice. I had only been open for a few weeks when Billy and Daisy walked in with their twin baby girls.
We heard you were back in town and we needed a good pediatrician.
And you thought of me. She gave me a shove so hard that we both started bawling and ended up hugging. Through her tears, she told me how much she'd been missing me. Have you both forgiven me?
Of course, Lily. I mean, after all, you're the reason we wound up together. We realized how much we had in common and love blossomed from there. We sent you a wedding invitation but never heard back.
I had all my mail forwarded to my dad's house. I still haven't gone through any of it, but I'm sorry I missed it. I'm sure it was beautiful.
Well, you have an open invitation to come by any time to look at the wedding album.
She'll take any excuse to break that out and show people we've gone through 3 mailmen.
Oh, sweetie!
That night, I swung by my dad's old house to go through all the mail and find the invitation. But what I found instead shocked me to my core. Hundreds of letters from Blaine. Once I started reading them, I was so happy. He had been waiting for me and writing to me all these years, telling me how much he loved me. I Googled the return address on the letters and rushed over to his house and banged on the door excitedly. Blaine, I know it's late, but you're not going to believe I just got all your letters. The door opened and my heart pounded. I went to hug him, but stopped suddenly when I saw a beautiful girl had answered the door.
Can I help you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Lily, just an old friend of Blaine's, and I just stopped by to say, hi.
He's not home right now, but do you want me to tell him that you stopped by?
I was crushed. My heart sank to the bottom of my chest, and I could barely get the words out. No, thank you. I stopped my car at the basketball court at my high school. I was so heartbroken that I just sat and cried until I felt someone behind me. It was Blaine.
What's the matter? Did you try to buy food with a library card? 'Cause I can tell you from personal experience that doesn't work.
I got your letters, but I'm too late.
Well, I'm no expert, but I think ghosting someone for a few years does qualify as very late.
Blaine took my hand. How did you find me here?
When my mom's assistant said you were at the door, I figured I'd find you here.
I felt a wave of relief wash over me, knowing about her. I'm so sorry, Blaine, and I can't find the words to say how much I
love you too, Lily.
We were leaning in for a kiss when a basketball suddenly came flying our way. Blaine grabbed it, tossing it to me.
Care for a little match, Lily?